Former Vikings quarterback says NFL teams missed by ignoring Shedeur Sanders. Former Vikings quarterback says NFL teams missed by ignoring Shedeur Sanders. Former Minnesota Vikings quarterback Dante Culpepper believes National Football League (NFL) teams slipped up by overlooking Shedeur Sanders in the NFL draft this year. Sanders had been widely tipped to be an early pick after shining in college football, but he was ultimately not selected until the 5th round. The Cleveland Browns eventually made him the 144th overall pick, and the move sparked plenty of debate about why he had dropped so far. One NFL coach reportedly described Sanders as entitled, but Culpepper believes other teams will regret not taking a chance on him. While recently speaking to Betway, Culpepper insisted that Sanders has what it takes to become a major star in the NFL over the next few years. Based on all the quarterbacks I got to see last season in college, I think Shedeur was a close second behind Cam Ward, Culpepper said. I think if Cam Ward was 1, I thought Shedeur should have been 1B. Obviously, I'm not in the war rooms with the teams and I don't know what they were evaluating. But just off the football aspect of it, I thought he was the second best quarterback coming out, and I was very surprised to see him drop the way he did. The former Colorado quarterback and son of NFL Hall of Famer Deion Sanders inevitably garnered plenty of attention during the offseason. His father was also his coach in college football, which raised questions about whether he had the ability to adapt to playing under a different regime. Sanders' SNR has been vocal on social media and in press conferences whenever his son was criticized, triggering further concerns in NFL circles. Colorado undoubtedly progressed with Sanders in the team, having posted a 1-11 record in 2022, improving to 4-8 and 9-4 in the next 2 seasons. However, one NFL coordinator noted that he often displayed questionable decision-making during games and doubted his ability to make an impact in the NFL. He's not going to extend plays the way he did at Colorado, he said. Nobody does, unless you're Lamar, Jackson, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray. Those guys are elite athletes. He's not. So, it's going to be a very different game he's asked to play. I'm not saying he can't do it. But that's where the hesitation is going to come into play. While plenty of people in the NFL have doubts about Sanders, there have been early signs that he could become a useful asset for the Browns. He looked comfortable in a preseason victory over the Carolina Panthers and appears to be buying into the culture of being a team player in Cleveland. His sideline support for second-year kicker Andre Szmyt during the season-opening defeat against the Cincinnati Bengals was an indication that he has the right mindset for the NFL. Culpepper is convinced that Sanders will prove the doubters wrong and has backed him to enjoy a successful career at the highest level. You hear stories, but the bottom line is you want a quarterback who can make plays and get your team to be in the best situation to win, Culpepper added. For whatever reason, teams didn't pick him, but he was the second best option in my opinion. Every day is now an opportunity for him to go out and showcase himself, even at practice. He's just got to go out and show who he is, and show he's worthy of being a starting quarterback in the NFL. He did have a great game in preseason, and he's got to build on that. The NFL is full of what-ifs. Every season, players emerge from obscurity to become stars, while others, blessed with talent, slip through the cracks due to timing, system, or skepticism from evaluators. But when a former Minnesota Vikings quarterback went on record this week to say that NFL teams completely whiffed on Shedeur Sanders, it reignited the conversation about whether Cleveland is sitting on a future franchise-altering player. The quarterback in question, an old-school gunslinger known for his honesty, didn't mince words. You look at Shedeur Sanders and tell me how 31 teams passed on him when they needed a quarterback, he said. That's not just a mistake. That's negligence. It wasn't just hyperbole. In his eyes, Sanders represents something the NFL has been searching for, a hybrid between the polished pocket passer of old and the modern-day improviser who can extend plays. The draft day slide. Sanders entered the league under one of the brightest spotlights in college football history. As Deion Sanders' son, the expectation was that NFL general managers would line up to draft him early, intrigued not just by his name but by his poise at Colorado. Yet the months leading up to draft day were a masterclass in doubt. Critics picked apart his mechanics. They argued his college stats came in a pass-happy system. They questioned whether he could process defenses at NFL speed. And, unfairly, some said his personality, confident to the point of flamboyance, would rub veteran locker rooms the wrong way. By the time the dust settled, Shedeur wasn't a first-rounder. He wasn't a second-rounder. Instead, He slid into the middle rounds, eventually scooped up by the Cleveland Browns more out of curiosity than conviction. To the outside world, it looked like another case of a young quarterback destined to vanish behind the veterans. Cleveland's hidden asset. In Berea, Ohio, however, Shedeur quietly went to work. He didn't make waves publicly, but reports out of training camp painted a picture of a quarterback absorbing everything, sitting behind Joe Flacco, asking questions in film sessions, mimicking Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes when running scout team reps. Coaches whispered about his accuracy. Teammates noted his composure. Still, with Flacco entrenched as QB1 and other young signal callers ahead of him on the depth chart, Sanders was pushed into the shadows. That's when the former Vikings quarterback decided to speak out. I've been around this league long enough to see busts and to see gems. Shedeur Sanders is a gem. He throws with timing, his footwork is there, and he doesn't panic. Do you know how rare that is for a young guy? And the fact that the NFL let him slide tells me evaluators are still judging quarterbacks by the wrong standards. A comparison to Vikings history. Why would a former Viking care so much about Sanders? History. The Vikings once passed on a young quarterback themselves, Tom Brady in 2000, choosing instead to ride with veterans. They've lived with that regret ever since. Now, watching Sanders languish behind veterans in Cleveland, echoes of missed opportunities ring loudly. In Minnesota, we had guys who could play, but we never had that guy, the one who could make everyone believe, the ex-quarterback said. Sanders has that. He's got the leadership, the arm talent, and that's something you can't coach. Swagger. Swagger matters. Swagger wins in January. The modern quarterback prototype. The NFL's quarterback prototype has shifted dramatically over the past decade. Gone are the days when a statuesque passer like Drew Bledsoe could thrive in the pocket without mobility. Today, quarterbacks must extend plays, escape pressure, and still deliver accurate strikes. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, all of them combine arm talent with improvisation. Shedeur, according to the Vikings alum, fits this mold perfectly. He doesn't need to run like Lamar, but he knows how to create. He doesn't throw 50 yards off his back foot like Mahomes, but he has touch and timing.